Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So it's been a long time since I've shown my face on the channel, but today I have a very exciting video. At least it's exciting for me. I haven't been this excited with a nail polish release in a while, and normally summertime is like my favorite time for a nail polish release because I really love bright neon pops of color. And let me stop rambling. Let's get into this video. Today's video is going to be a swatch and review of the Kathleen Lights Lacquer summer collection. This was called the Sweet as Summer collection. So I purchased this, and then I also wanted to do kind of a dupe slash color comparison for this collection. And this is what it looks like in the box. And as you can see, there's a lot of colors that people were asking on the Lights Lacquer Instagram page, especially this color right here, if it was a dupe, if there was a dupe from her previous nail polish line. So I don't know if you guys know this, but Kathleen Lights originally had KL Polish, and she is no longer affiliated with KL Polish. She pretty much separated from the company. Go watch her video if you're interested in the details, but long story short, she's no longer with KL Polish, and she created a new nail polish line called Lights Lacquer. So I have the entire KL Polish line there, so I wanted to see if there were some of her favorite colors was re-released in this collection, and to see if I could find anything or any color comparisons in China Glaze, OPI, nail polishes that I already have. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first nail polish I have here is called Cherry Jelly, and it is a jelly finish, like a candy apple red. So with 3 coats, this nail polish dries super shiny. So because it's super shiny, you're not really going to be able to see your visible nail line. Because like I said, this dries so shiny, it's kind of gonna deflect from that. And I really like jelly polishes for doing jelly sandwiches. I have an entire video on my favorite jelly sandwiches. So there's a lot of jelly finishes in this collection, and I'm excited to play around with some of these colors and create new jelly sandwiches out of them. So let me go ahead and grab my color wheels. I do not know where I put them. Ah, here they are. Okay, so here is a swatch of Cherry Jelly. So the first color I compared it to is a nail polish from the original KL Polish line here, and this one is called Ace. And Ace and Cherry Jelly, they're actually dupes for each other except for the finish. So Ace is a cream nail polish. It doesn't have that jelly finish. But because, like I said, Cherry Jelly, you can't really see, or doesn't really look like a jelly nail polish with 3 coats, they're honestly dupes for each other. I can't really tell the difference unless you were to play around with creating a jelly sandwich. Then I feel like it would be, you would really be able to tell that Cherry Jelly is a jelly nail polish. So then the next color that I have to compare to it is also a dupe, and this is Renee from Zoya. And like I said, this one is a dupe in color. It is a similar color or an exact color. So yeah, basically a dupe, but it's not a dupe for the finish. So the Zoya one in Renee is also a cream finish, and then I have one more that is a similar color, but as you can see, it dried down a little bit darker, and this is from Sally Hansen, part of their Insta Dry line, and this one is in the shade Rapid Red. So yeah, overall, I really fell in love with the Lights Lacquer Cherry Jelly, and I would definitely consider this one of my favorites from the collection. And I do think if you don't have a similar color already like this in your collection, I do think this is a beautiful nail polish to pick up because it's just so juicy looking. I love the fact of how glossy it dries, and the fact that it is a jelly finish, that if you wanted just to wear it as an opaque nail polish, you can, and I bet you can create some really nice jelly sandwiches with it. So let's move on to the next nail polish in the collection. I was instantly drawn to this one because it is a gorgeous coral color, and this is called Who Loves Orange Soda. This was fully opaque in 3 coats. It is also a jelly finish. However, it dries matte. When I first saw this nail polish, the first dupe I thought of was from Orly. So this is Orly's. I should know this already. This is Orly's Melt Your Popsicle. So this is immediately the first nail polish that I thought of when I saw this. And let's go ahead and show you guys on the color wheel. They are very similar, but I wouldn't necessarily call them dupes. All right, so here is the lightslacquer one, and here is Orly's Melt Your Popsicle. Orly's Melt Your Popsicle is definitely what I would consider a true neon, because you would have to put a white base underneath this in order for it to just pop and glow. However, the lightslacquer one slightly has a little bit of like a white base to it, ever so slightly, and you can see that here, that because it has that white kind of creamy base to it, it's not glowing as much as Orly's Melt Your Popsicle. So Orly's Melt Your Popsicle, very similar, but I would definitely say that it is a little brighter, a little bit more intense than the lightslacquer one. Another color comparison that I found is from China Glaze, and this is called Sultry Solstice. I believe this was part of like a Halloween collection, and I would call this a dupe for the KL polish one. Very similar, it dries matte, it has a little bit of kind of like that creaminess to it, so you don't need to add a white base to it. And last but not least, the last nail polish that I found that was similar to it is from KB Shimmer, and it's called Please Don't Glow Girl. I would say it dries a little bit darker, so for that reason I would call it like a color comparison and not an exact dupe. And this one definitely has a little bit more of like a white base to it. And then I didn't put this on the color wheel, but I did manage to find one more that is a very similar color comparison, and this is from the Sally Hansen like Crayola collection. This one is called Atomic Tangerine, and I would definitely call it a color comparison, but it does dry very similar to the KB Shimmer one, where it has a little bit more of like a darker base. I really like this one as well because Orly's Melt Your Popsicle is one of my all-time favorite neons, but it is a little bit finicky to work with. It does have like a very liquidy formula. So it's just difficult to work with, but once you go through all of that hassle, the results are beautiful. But if you don't want to go through all of that hassle, then I would recommend something like the lightslacquer one. I searched through all of my neons, and honestly, the only 3 neons that I found that were similar to this and had nice formulas was the one from China Glaze, Crayola, and KB Shimmer. And as you can see, the only one that's an exact dupe was the China Glaze one. So I would think it's pretty unique, because I'm not even sure if the China Glaze one is even still available for purchase, because like I said, it is a it was like a Halloween collection, but you could probably find it on eBay if you wanted to. But I do recommend the lightslacquer polish. That was kind of a long roundabout way of saying that. Okay, the next nail polish in the collection I was instantly drawn to, in a sense that I'm always curious about yellow nail polish like this. So this one is called Slice of Life, and it is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful formula. Yellow nail polishes are just notorious for having finicky formulas. They dry down kind of patchy. This one doesn't. Oh my God, it was absolutely beautiful. I would say this one isn't necessarily a solid 2-coater. I feel like I went in with a little bit more nail polish than usual when I was doing my swatch for this. So I may have created like a thicker coat, because that's typically how I approach yellow nail polishes. So I would say this is a 2 to 3 coater, potentially a 3 coater if you do thin coats, but I was able to get this fully opaque in 2 coats. And like I said, it has an absolutely beautiful formula. and I didn't necessarily find exact dupes for it. So I really wanted to compare Slice of Life with this one from KL Polish called Tropicana. This was from one of my all-time favorite collections that KL Polish released. But I would say this one has a little bit more of like a brownie undertone to it. As you can see, it dries down a little bit deeper than the new lightslacquer one. But the next one I would say is probably the closest to it. Unfortunately, I don't know if this nail polish collection is even available to purchase anymore. This was the first OPI and Hello Kitty release. This was called My Twin Mimi. If you already have it in your collection, it is a very similar finish, similar formula, and similar, like very, very similar to the KL polish. So I would say skip this one. And then the last one I have to show you guys is from Zoya. This is one of my favorite Zoya nail polishes, Zoya's Pippa, because again, it is another nail polish that has a very beautiful yellow, it's another yellow nail polish that has a very beautiful formula, because like I said, yellow nail polishes are just notoriously difficult to create a nice formula with. And this one from lightslacquer, absolutely divine. All right, let's move on to the next nail polish in the collection. It is the green one, and it is called Now and Later. This is a gorgeous kind of kiwi green nail polish. It is a jelly finish, and this one did take 3 coats to get fully opaque. This one I feel like is one of the nail polishes that has a little bit more of a sheer finish, in my opinion. There is a previously released KL polish that is very, very similar. So this one right here is the new lightslacquer Now and Later, and the next one is from KL Polish in the shade 305. And as you can see, it definitely has a little bit more of a yellow undertone. So they are color comparisons, and not like they're similar in color, but they're not dupes. The next one I really wanted to show you guys, because this is a very popular nail polish from China Glaze, and it's called Grass is Lime Greener. This is one of my favorite lime green nail polishes, but as you can see, it is definitely more neon than the lightslacquer one. The next one I have here is from Pretty Serious, and it's called Boy Leg Briefs. But I think this one is the most similar in terms of like tone. However, the Pretty Serious one has a very fine, very, very fine shimmer where you can't even tell. So if you already have the Pretty Serious one, then I would skip on the lightslacquer. And then the last one I have here is from Zoya, and this is Zoya's Tilda. And I feel like the Zoya Tilda one definitely dries down a lot darker. So similar, but not exact dupes to the lightslacquer one. And all of those color comparisons are cream finishes. And like I said, the one from lightslacquer is a jelly finish. So even though they were similar in color, I wouldn't call them perfect dupes because all of them were cream finishes. And like I said, the lightslacquer one is a jelly finish. Okay. Let's move on to the next nail polish. I feel like this nail polish color, this one is called Berry, was the one where most people were excited about this color. And most people wanted to know if this is similar to a color that KL Polish had previously released, because it's one of their most popular colors. I believe it's called Porter Miami. Yeah, Porter Miami. However, this is a very similar color to the original Sally Hansen's Pacific Blue. And I feel that once that nail polish got discontinued, everyone was trying to find a dupe for it. Or lots of nail polish companies started coming out with similar colors because it was such a gorgeous nail polish Formula 1. And then on top of that, the color was very, you know, it's a very similar color to this. So because of that, I would say that maybe like 5-6 years ago, that color was a little bit more difficult to find. You probably weren't going to be able to find a lot of dupes for it. But as you can see from the color wheel, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 nail polishes that are very, very similar or almost exact dupes to this one that lightslacquer created. So this one is 3 coats. I wouldn't necessarily call it a jelly finish. I feel like it has a little bit more of like a cream base to it. So let's go in order. This one right here is the lightslacquer one in berry. Next, we have the KL Polish Porter Miami. I would say they're very, very similar. Porter Miami maybe dries down a little bit darker. You may not be able to tell on the color wheel, but Porter Miami dries down just a hint darker. So the new lightslacquer one is a little bit brighter than the original KL Polish. I have one here from Pretty Serious called Comfy Y Fronts. And this one is basically a dupe. It is an exact dupe for the lightslacquer one, dupe in formula, dupe in color. The next one I would definitely say is a little bit darker. This is from Crayola and the Sally Hansen Insta Dry line, and this one is called Beautiful. This one does dry down a little bit darker than the KL Polish. I'm sorry. This one definitely dries down a little bit darker than the lightslacquer, so I wouldn't call them exact dupes, but the color is pretty much similar. So you're just looking at, it's like a hint darker. So the next one I have here is another one from the OPI Hello Kitty collection. This one is called My Pal Joey. I feel like this has a little bit of like a grayish undertone to it, but it's so similar that I would call it a dupe. And then I have these two here. So this one right here is the original Sally Hansen Pacific Blue, the original formula. I had a lovely subscriber send me her backup of it, and it's just been great to do color comparisons to this. So thank you so much for sending me a backup of this nail polish. I really do appreciate it. I would say it's very similar. The new lightslacquer is very similar to the Sally Hansen Pacific Blue, but this tends to has a little bit more of like a lighter purple to it, so it leans a little bit more on like that periwinkle side in comparison to the new lightslacquer one. And then a dupe for the Sally Hansen Pacific Blue, and like I said, it has a little bit more purple, it's a little bit creamier, and it leans more on the periwinkle side. This is from Julie G, and this color is called Cabana Boy. I would say that the new lightslacquer one is closer to the original Sally Hansen Pacific Blue than the KL Polish in Porter Miami. So, you know, if you really like that color, then I would pick up the lightslacquer one. But I will say the formula isn't as good as Sally Hansen Pacific Blue because lightslacquer is, I would call it a solid 3-coater. All right, let's talk about the very last nail polish in the collection. This one is the purple one, and it's called My Jam. When I first looked at this nail polish, I thought it was going to be extremely dupeable. However, I feel like this shade of purple is kind of unique. So it's a neon purple. It looks very similar to the nail polish that I have on my nails, but the nail polish that I have on my nails leans a little bit more on the purple side, and I feel like this leans a little bit more on the pinky side. So let me go ahead and show you the color comparisons. This one, My Jam, also is a jelly finish. It dries matte, but I would say it's a little patchy if you aren't careful with your application. So I would personally go in with a little bit more nail polish than usual, and I don't want to say kind of flood your nail with it, but I would apply a pretty generous first coat and then let it dry down so that it can even itself out, because it does dry down thinner. Like I feel like it looks like you have a lot of nail polish on your nail, but it does kind of flatten out, dries matte, and if you go in with too little nail polish, it is going to look a little bit patchy. So there is a little bit of a learning curve with this nail polish, but I feel like the end results are absolutely beautiful. So, and another thing I wanted to mention with this nail polish is that it does stain your nails pretty badly. So I don't use a base coat when I'm doing swatches, but I would definitely recommend a base coat when I'm wearing this. So this is actually My Jam, and what's next to it is the nail polish that I am wearing wearing today. The nail polish I am wearing today is called Boogie Board or Bougie Board from China Glaze. And I would just call it a similar color, but they're definitely not dupes. So this is my jam. The next polish that I have next to this, I would definitely call an exact dupe. But this nail polish is a little bit more difficult to find. This is from Illamasqua, and it is called Stance. This is an absolutely gorgeous nail polish. The formula is a lot better than the lightslacquer one. This one only takes 2 coats to be opaque, and I don't typically have patchiness problems with this one. So if you already have this nail polish in your collection, I would definitely pass on the lightslacquer one. The next one is from Pretty Serious. It's called Lacy Under Things. I feel like this is also very similar to the lightslacquer one. And then the last two are too pinky to compare. Like, they have a little bit more of a pinky undertone in comparison to the lightslacquer one. So I have Violet Vibes from, this is a very popular nail polish from China Glaze. They came out with like a summer collection a couple of years ago. So I know a lot of people have that nail polish in their collection. And then the very last one is from KB Shimmer, and it's called Let's Be Frank. So these two, the China Glaze one, Violet Vibes, and the KB Shimmer one, definitely lean more on the pinky side. So I wouldn't call them necessarily dupes. I would say the only real dupes are the Illamasqua one and then the Pretty Serious one. So yeah, I was honestly surprised by this one, but just like Orly's Melt Your Popsicle, it's a very finicky formula, kind of difficult to work with, but once you figure it out and you get it right, it's just an absolutely gorgeous nail polish. So if you don't want to put the work in, you have to put some work in with this nail polish, I would say skip it and maybe look into getting the Pretty Serious or the Illamasqua one. So yeah, those are my thoughts, my opinions. Again, these are my thoughts and my opinions on the new lightslacquer summer collection. A lot of these are absolutely gorgeous, definitely worth picking up, very beautiful colors. And you know, I just wanted to again share the dupes and color comparisons for you guys so you can make a better and more informed decision when you're purchasing these nail polishes, because I know a lot of people you know, are having financial difficulties during this pandemic. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys found it entertaining, informational. You know, maybe it's just nice to see a new summer collection from lightslacquer. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I'm trying to get back to a 3 video a week schedule, but that may change once I start teaching full-time towards the end of August or early September. So again, give this video a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below. I'd love to know what you guys are up to, and stay safe, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.